are going to prepare a Sonoran recipe for our final evidence of the subject of anthropology and social conscience.
Today we're going to cook carne asada from Sonora, and from dessert we're going to make coyotitas. Hi everyone, welcome to our video about the rich culinary traditions of Sonora, Mexico. Today we're taking a closer look at two of its most iconic dishes, carne asada and coyotas. Let's start with carne asada, which is so much more than just grilled beef. It's a symbol of identity, community, and family gatherings in Sonora. Its history dates back to the cattle ranching traditions of northern Mexico. Back then, cattle raising was one of the main economic activities in the region. And after a cow was slaughtered, it was customary for families and neighbors to gather around the fire to grill and share the meat. This gathering wasn't just about eating, it was a meaningful social event, a chance to reconnect, share stories, and strengthen bonds. These backyard get-togethers became an essential part of Sonoran culture. Over time, carne asada was no longer just a necessity, but a weekend ritual, a way to celebrate special occasions and a reflection of Sonoran hospitality. In fact, it's often said in Sonora, si no hay carne asada, no es fiesta, meaning if there's no grilled meat, it's not a party.
As years went by, technological advancements like refrigeration and vacuum packaging allowed Sonoran beef to be preserved longer and exported beyond local markets. And thanks to the high quality, tender texture, and rich flavor, Sonora beef gained national and even international recognition. So today, Sonora beef is considered among the best in Mexico, and is a sought after product in other parts of the country and in the southwestern of United States. But carne asada isn't complete without the traditional sides, and Sonorans take great pride in the ingredients that accompany the meat. And usually you'll find cebollitas asadas, which are grilled spring onion, chile verde asado, roasted green chilies, and freshly tomatoes, frijoles meneados, which are creamy refrigerated beans mixed with cheese and soft, thin flavored tortillas. And these sides are not random, they represent the abundance of family gardens and farms in Sonora. The wheat used for the tortillas, for example, thrives in Sonora arid climate and has been cultivated for generations. In fact, Sonoran flour tortilla are famous through Mexico for being larger, thinner, and softer than everywhere else.
As the years passed, coyotas became even more popular and diverse, while piloncillo remains the traditional favorite bakers and some cooks began experimenting with new flavors. Today you can find coyotas filled with guayaba, guava paste, milk fudge, dulce de leche, cajeta, or some other Mexican caramels, and even modern versions with Nutella or cream cheese. But beyond their flavors, coyotas represent something deeper. They tell a story of how simple ingredients and resourceful women help preserve culinary traditions through the generations. Coyotas are often sold at local markets, family bakeries, and roadside stands, and it's common for families to pass down their personal recipes from mother to daughter. In Sonora, offering someone a coyota is a gesture of warmth, kindness, and a way to share a piece of the region's history. Today, coyotas are not only enjoyed through Mexico, but they are also exported to the United States. They are just as nostalgic treat for Sonoran families living abroad. They are a symbol of cultural resilience and the power of food to connect people across the time and borders.
Now let's talk about another beloved Sonoran specialty, the coyota. This delicious pastry has a fascinating history. It was born in the 1950s in a small neighborhood called Villa de Ceriz in Hermosillo, Sonora's capital city. A woman named Doña María Ochoa González took a recipe shared by her neighbor, Agustina Araiza, and gave it her personal touch by using ingredients native to the region, like wheat flour, vegetable shortening, and piloncillo, a type of unrefined cane sugar. The name coyota has interesting origins too. Historically, the word was used to refer to the daughters of indigenous women and Spanish settlers during colonial times. Later, it also described the young girls who would sell these pastries on the streets of Hermosillo, carrying baskets filled with sweet-smelling coyotas to homes and markets. The coyota itself is a round, hand-made pastry, traditionally filled with piloncillo. It's baked until golden and slightly crispy on the outside, while the inside remains soft and filled with caramelized sweetness. Over time, the coyota became a symbol of Sonoran identity and a reminder of the blending of cultures that shaped the region.
Dale. Pero cuente, que te caiga todo. ¿Este?
Más o menos velo y que sea como un término, algo así poquito más oscurito. Es que ya. Sí. Ah,
¿Qué?
el humo. Está pegando.
Pues no, lo que pasa es que está bien caliente el... Está muy alta la flama y... No se han quemado.
Se ve bien.
Sí. Pues quema muy rápido porque como cae la grasita al tronco, rápido los atreven. Rápido los hacen. Esto se va a tardar un poquito más. Pues. Acá ya no hay tanto. Acá arriba es termino.
Quiero decir que aquí te podemos dorar como que teniendo la carne para que se hace.
Ajá.
Ya puedo ser un papá.
Graba. Digo. Ya no grabo. Digo, ya cocino. Sácalo. Sácate.
Amor, ¿será que meto la carne para que no esté en el calor o...?
Qué posada, no sé.
También voy a sacar eso. ¿Cómo te comías el aguacate?
Cuidado.
También me salía el baile completo. Ahorita nomás me siempre decimos. No, el baile de ese yo no. Hay otros que sí, pero ese no. Chef, ¿esto ya no?
Ya no. Bien, sácalo chilito.
No me quiero servir. ¿Ya?
Sí,
Es que es asadero.
Ay, es
creo
que
que sí. Es menonita.
No es menonita.
No sé si estén saliendo todos, pero...
se vea
Mi amor,
unas
sí,
manillas
ella.
ahí.
Voy.
Se ven las manitas.
Rápido.
Es que decía por si querían hacer diferentes tomas. ¿Sí? Bueno.
Luego le añaden la manteca.
Voy.
¿Está caliente? Toda la carne, ¿verdad?
Sí, mi amor.
Toda la carne, ¿no? Sí.
De una vez.
Díselo.
Para Ervin también.
Para Erwin, para mí.
¿Esto qué?
Pero esto
Están
no se
las
debe de
manos.
vaciar, ¿o sí?
Sí.
¿Ahorita?
Murillo, quiero que repitas.
¿Lo que dije?
Sí.
Chicos, ¿alguien se podría ir callando los otros piloncillos y les paso cuchillo? Porque como que...
Con uno de vida también. Pero se deforma la imagen, ¿no? Confiemos en el proceso. ¿Ya?
¿Por qué de repente nos callamos todos?
No sé.
Concentración.
Eso.
Bien, bien.
Eso.
Eso ya.
La primera coyota de Murillo. Un aplauso.
Venga.
¿Quieres?
Síganle.
Dale, dale. Híjole.
¿Eso qué es?
Meloncillo.
Pico a Pepi.
¿Qué pasó?
A ver, tú bájalo.
¡Qué bueno!
This coyotita is delicious as fuck.
¿Y tú, vale?
Ya está buena.
I think Carne asada in Sonora is one of the most representative traditions of the region, and in Sonora and I think everywhere else in the country, is the perfect excuse to get together, to enjoy a meal, and above all to spend time in family and friends. And was it Sonora carne asada different from other type of meat is that they usually use arrachera or ribeye, and I think also the way that is prepared, often with a touch of salt, of pepper, and some seasoning. And the Sonoran culture is distinguished by warm climate, also by the northern music, and life in the desert. And I think it's also opportunity when you make carne asada to allow to share stories and also for the sense of belonging. And I think whatever it's a party, a family celebration, or maybe just a simply weekend in the countryside, I think is a tradition that unites people to celebrate their identity and enjoy with the heart and with the people you love. And it has been the most fun evidence I ever had during the 4 semesters I've been in the millennium. And I think it has also been a great opportunity to talk and to socialize to more of my friends. And at least in the things that I help cooking, I didn't feel like it was so hard to elaborate, because there are some things that I already know how to do and I have made them before, so I made them quite frequent. That's why I didn't feel like very hard to do it. And even there were things that I have made them for the first time, or maybe I didn't know how to do it or wasn't sure it was the right way to do it. For example, coyotas, that has been the first time I ever made them. So I really liked the experience, I really liked the result. They were realistic, they were really big, and in my personal opinion, I found it very sweet, but they were really good.
Hi, how are you? I'd like to share with you my experience making our Sonoran dishes and desserts. It was truly a bit different from what we usually make. We chose the carne asada and the coyotas because they were delicious and typical of Sonora. Personally, I had to do a little bit of everything: prepare the guacamole, make the salsa, and chop all the vegetables. For the coyotas, I also had to grate piloncillo, which left my arms really sore. I kneaded the dough and filled the coyotas, which are one of Sonora's typical desserts. I did several things, even having to record my other colleagues. At first, I thought it would be easy, but once we were in the kitchen, I realized it takes time, patience, and a lot of attention, especially with the meat, which can burn very easily. What I liked the most about this activity was spending time with my friends and learning about a tradition from another state in Mexico while we cooked together. I also liked seeing that everything turned out so well in the end, and the dishes were delicious, very delicious. What I didn't like so much was that sometimes either we got distracted by other things or we weren't well organized, and some parts took a little bit longer. In the end, I was a little tired, but I also felt satisfied having learned new things or reinforced knowledge I already knew, such as grating piloncillo or preparing coyotas. It was a bit difficult for me to be 100% focused on everything at once and paying attention to how things were done. But in the end, with everyone's help, it turned out very well and I learned new things. This activity helped me reinforce skills such as teamwork, organization, and appreciating the effort that goes into preparing a complete meal. Without a doubt, it was a very different and fun activity that taught me many things. So that's been all my experience cooking with my friends some dishes from Sonora. Thank you very much for listening and have a very nice day.
To wrap up this project, I just want to say that personally I believe it was a very satisfying experience. Throughout this assignment, I had the chance to apply everything I've learned during the semester in this subject, anthropology and social conscience, in a practical and meaningful way. It wasn't just about researching or presenting information. It was about living the subject, connecting it with real experiences and sharing that with others. One of the things I enjoyed the most was being able to combine academical knowledge with social skills. It gave me the opportunity to work as a part of a team, communicate effectively, and listen to different perspectives. At the same time, I was able to explore the cultural and historical background of food traditions, which made the project even more valuable to me. On top of that, this was the first time I actually learned how to cook coyotas, and it was even the first time I got to taste them, which was a great experience. I felt really rewarding to take part in preparing something that's so traditional in Sonora, a state in the north of my country, and see how it's made from scratch. I also experienced cooking carne asada myself, working together with my teammates to prepare everything, from setting up the grill to seasoning the meat and ordering the side dishes. It was a fun and memorable experience that taught me not only about the food, but also about teamwork, patience, and the importance of keeping traditions alive. Overall, I'm really proud of the result, and I'm grateful for the chance to turn what we learned in class into something practical, social, and meaningful. It's a project I'll definitely remember because it really helped me to apply, as I already said, this experience I learned into a practical way. And I'm proud of doing something that's part of my country, not my state, but it's part, anyways, of my culture. So those were my experiences, my conclusions.
Was one.
Stop recording.
For me, carne asada is one of the clearest memories of what it means to feel at home. It's not just about the food itself, it's about the entire experience that surrounds it. I remember the afternoons that slowly turned into evenings as we gathered in someone's backyard, The sense of mosquito wood rising into the sky and the familiar sound of laughter echoing through the warm air. There was always music playing, maybe norteñas or old family favorites. And everyone had a role, whether it was preparing the tortillas, watching the grill, or just keeping the conversation going. Grilling carne asada has felt like a celebration. Even if there wasn't a specific occasion, it was enough to be just together. That's the magic of it, how something so simple as grilled beef can bring generations of family and friends around the same table, again and again. There is a kind of unspoken tradition in how the meat is seasoned and how the fire is built and how everyone waits for the first bite. Coyotas, and on the other hand, remind me of quieter, comforting moments. Their sweet aroma always meant that someone had taken the time to make something special. Biting into one instantly brings back to childhood memories of being in the kitchen with warm coyota in hand, sitting with my grandparents, or sharing one with a friend at school. They're sweet, yes, but they're also wrapped in the love and care of those who make them. Together, carne asada and coyotas don't just represent flavors of Sonora, they represent its soul. They remind me of who I am, where I come from, and how food can be a powerful bridge between past and present. These dishes have shaped not just my plate, but my sense of belonging, of my family, and of the quiet joy found in shared moments around a grill or a kitchen table.